Hey, Brandon here. Welcome back to another episode of the 2023 NFL Draft Rookie Report. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. I'm here as always with my co-host Jason DiRienzo, a recent graduate of the Scouting Academy and co-founder of Devy Watch. We have an exciting prospect here tonight, Jason. We got a guy who just came off the Senior Bowl who's creating a lot of buzz in Tyjae Spears. So I am excited to get into his rookie report.
Yeah, me
We are
too.
gonna we are gonna look at his 2022 film. We're going to look at his expected draft capital and look at his future dynasty value as we head into the draft season, into the rookie draft season as well. So hit that subscribe button. This is our 21st episode of the Rookie Report. We plan on hitting shows like this for all of the rookies that you plan on drafting in your rookie draft this spring. So let's get right into it with Tyjae Spears. Exciting player right now. People
Yeah.
are all a buzz. I mean, the Cotton Bowl game against USC really put him on the map and got him, I think, in people's eyes in the draft community. Great way to end the 2022 season. And then, of course, he went to the Senior Bowl. He basically weighed in at 205, went on, everyone else thought he was 195, under that 200-pound threshold. So everyone got excited at the Senior Bowl. He will be probably, one of the guys who's got their draft stock rise big time from the Senior Bowl. So let's get right into some stats here before we get into a scouting report. Again, welcome to the show. 5'9", 205 pounds. His career statistics: he rushed 388 times, 2,500 yards, 26 TDs, 6.4 yards per carry. Receiving back too. He's got 46 carries out of the backfield, 537 yards, 3 TDs, averaging 11.7 on this channel. We love to talk about PFF stats here to kind of give us some idea where he ranks amongst the other running backs in this class. So here you'll see some stats here, guys. His zone gap, he ran pretty much 50-50. It looks like 46% zone, 53% gap. That's probably good for the versatility. A lot of teams still run zone in the NFL, but it seems like they're more moving towards gap, it seems like. So that's good that he's got that versatility. Yards after contact. Jason, he was second in this year's 2023 draft class, right?
Yep.
4.18. I think Bijan was the only guy above him. So that is a juicy nugget of statistics there.
Yeah.
His missed tackles forced, 114 on his career, basically 29% of his runs. He at least made a guy miss. So he's got some elusiveness. And his elusiveness rating, he was third with 145 behind Bijan and Rashad Johnson. We did Bijan Robinson's film not too long ago, and we were surprised that Rashad Johnson came in with the number one elusive rating on PFF. Here, Spears ends up at number 3 of the 2023 running back draft class. So any of those stats say anything to you? You want to make a comment about any of that?
You know what? Based on what I saw on film, some of these do make sense, and we'll get into that as we go through the scouting report.
Yeah, so we go through, if you're, again, new to the channel, we go through 5 traits here for running backs. We kind of briefly discuss them. Jason and I, we are film watchers. We are film grinders. We have watched a lot of film on Spears. Exciting player here. Vision and patience. All right, I'm going to read from you my Devy to Dynasty dashboard, my scouting report on my product, and I have here creative and instinctive runner. Vision is good and really shines in the second level where he can really weave in and out of contact. His patience overall was good, and I'm interested to see if you had picked up this at all, Jason, in watching his film. I felt at times with his patience, he could be, overconfident in his change of direction ability, where he would go off script and not follow the design play from the best of my ability. I am not an X and O, student of the game necessarily, but I saw him, kind of leave the patience world and kind of, move because he's got such elusiveness and twitchiness that we're going to talk about here shortly.
Yeah, I saw the exact same thing, Brandon. And when the pockets collapsed and his gaps just kind of fell on him, he knew exactly how to bounce outside. And I think that's what I'm a little concerned about when it comes to his vision and patience is he does make a lot of his living going to the outside, a lot on the right side, a lot on the left side. He can get up the middle, but I wish he was a little bit more understanding of the mental processing of what he sees from defenders and those peaking safeties and linebackers. I think that might be a problem. Overall, I think his vision is solid based on what I saw.
Yeah, and like we've talked about in other shows, I mean, these kids aren't fully baked yet, They
Right.
still have the ability to learn and get better. So his footwork and short area quickness, I think this is what everyone's excited about with this guy. I mean, we love twitchy athletes. We love guys. And in footwork, I say, do they have sweet feet or beat feet? And I think he's got sweet feet with suddenness. That's my new tagline tagline, by the way.
I like it.
I'm going to bookmark,
You need to, yeah, write that down.
trademark that in a minute.
Yep.
So, but I thought, again, reading from my report here, excellent agility and twitch, making guys miss routinely. He can redirect quickly without losing momentum, can make cuts in a phone booth. I feel like he's got a special trait when it comes to his short area quickness and his quick feet.
Yeah, that short area quickness is really impressive, and that's definitely going to help him at least get 3 to 5 yards almost every single time he has the ball, unless defenders are getting into the backfield. And when it comes to that, footwork and elusiveness in a way, what we saw at that Senior Bowl, that where he got low and made the defender miss, he did the same exact thing against defender at USC in that game too. So, man, the way he can get low, cut, get good ankle flexion, shift his weight, I love all of it. I think that's really going to be a benefactor to how he translates to the next level.
I completely agree with you. His speed and acceleration is the next kind of trait we talk about. I have here, explosive athlete who can accelerate quickly. I thought he had really incredible bursts to get quickly to top speed. I like his tempo when running, his stop-start ability to manipulate defenders and create lanes for himself. Going back to his vision and his short area quickness and acceleration, I feel he's really got some really good traits when he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, because he's going to have tough, given his size, to navigate consistently in the NFL. I think between the tackles, man, you can get this guy out in open space, or he lands himself on an offense where, they can get him out in space. I mean, I think his speed and acceleration was on full display, man. And one thing I look for too, big time, is when you have defenders taking bad angles, and they've got the, they're tracking him down on the sideline and they're diving for his feet. He's got underrated play speed.
Yeah, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I actually think I should have waited for what I said with his footwork to talk about the athleticism, because it kind of echoes exactly what I just said. Just his, lateral agility, the initial burst and acceleration. But what you just said, he definitely exploits bad pursuit angles. And there was some bad tackling. I mean, I watched that USC game a couple times because that really gave me a general idea of who he was in a big time light. And man, there was some bad tackling from USC.
There was.
He knew exactly how to exploit it and get the most out of it. And that's exactly what I want to see from running back, coming from a place like Tulane.
Yeah, well, any advice for Lincoln Riley? He should be hitting defensive players in that transfer portal big time. So,
absolutely.
Strength and contact balance. Okay, this is kind of where maybe his profile takes a little bit of a ding. I mean, first thing I've written in here is flexible athlete. You had talked about his ankle flex and all that. Weighed 205 pounds at the Senior Bowl. I think he has solid play strength and contact balance for his size, but small frame will limit his effectiveness on interior runs. Good at maintaining balance through contact. He's not an elite pass protector, but he's willing and brings good technique. In fact, I'm creating 2 all-22 films right now, and a couple of them I've actually watched him in Pass Pro, and I got to give the guy an A+ for effort, man. I mean, he's a small guy, but I'll tell you, he does his best and cutting legs out from, rushing attackers and stuff like that. But, listen, the kid's is on the smaller frame size, but, a couple times in the second level, he got hit, and he, uses his arms to keep balanced and continue moving forward. So, given his size, I thought his, contact balance was pretty good, but I think his strength is going to be what is, the issue may be at the next level.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wish I could disagree with you, but I agree with you. I think it is going to be an issue at the next level. The thing I do like is that he's very competitive and tenacious, and he doesn't want to go down upon first contact. And I like the fact that he tries to keep his legs moving, even though a lot of times it doesn't work for him, but he is trying. And I like to see that from a running back with a smaller stature. And when it came to that USC game, again, it took a lot of stuffs at the line of scrimmage to kind of help out with those long breakaways that help pad those stats a little bit too. So the middle is definitely not going to be where he's going to make his living at the next level.
For sure. His last trait we talk about is pass catching. I think he's one of the best receiving backs in the nation. I like the way he catches the ball away from his frame. I mean, he looks comfortable catching it. I like how he turns up field. He had 22 receptions. This was the season they did the most receptions. If you look at his career, the trajectory of getting more involved in the passing game seemed to come the older he got and the more experience he got out on the field. But I mean, I think from a PPR standpoint, I mean, to get this kid out in space, he's not going to be the guy that's running in between the tackles consistently. He's going to be involved in the passing game to utilize his strengths and his speed and elusiveness out in the field. So he should be a good PPR option in our dynasty rosters.
Yeah, I think so. This is the first year that we really got to see him in that pass catching role. And honestly, I mean, if I don't think he was on anybody's radars before this year, honestly. And there wasn't much going on the pass game. So this year was great. The fact that we got to see him do more of it and he looked good doing it. Now, an NFL team just needs to maximize that and get a role for him and get us some PPR points in the process.
Yeah, he had 8 100-yard games to end this season. So,
That's pretty freaking good.
yeah, he played Cincinnati, ranked 24th. He ran for 35 attempts for 181 yards. I mean, for a small guy, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
lot of carries,
that's
against
a
UC.
lot of carries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
UCF was ranked 22 and averaged 9 yards a carry with 200 yards. So, I mean, this kid's got some, moxie to him, like you said. So, one thing I wanted to bring up, he's got 2 ACL tears in the last 4 years. So, I don't know. What do you think that medical does? Because he, you can see watching his film how he can stop on a dime, he shifts, he puts a lot of pressure on those knees. I mean, with 2 ACL tears, is that a sign that maybe, look, we've seen Frank Gore be an a
Right.
Hall of Famer the rest of his life, with 2 ACL tears. So I'm not saying he's going to be it's going to happen again, but I mean, do you think like NFL drafters are going to be like, the medicals might be a little worrisome?
A part of me thinks so, but you know what? It's more mental. And if it mentally gets to you where you become conservative, that's when it's a problem. He did not become conservative. I mean, this
Hmm.
was the
Oh
best
yeah.
year of his entire career. So I don't think it's an issue. I really don't. I think he's just going to have to go with a good strength program to make sure that he keeps himself healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I give him all the props in the world for having 2 ACL tears and still has the
Yeah.
desire to play football. So, all right, let's get to his draft capital and his projected fantasy value. I mean, his draft capital right now, I'm looking at rounds 3 through 5. I think he could maybe sneak into day 2 if there's a team that thinks they could utilize his, his special, quickness and elusiveness and burst and speed and stuff like that. Where do you see him falling? I mean, I see him more as a day 3 guy, but I think he might slip into day 2. I'm not sure.
Back in day 2, I could possibly see if a team falls in love with the skill set and knows exactly how he's gonna play a role with them, but I see more around 4, around 5. I think that's a sweet spot for a guy with this particular type of skill set who's honestly not that great of a blocker either.
Yeah, so I did a rookie mock. Let's talk about his rookie draft value. I did a rookie mock with my dashboard subscribers not too long ago, about a week and a half ago. He went in the beginning of the 4th round before all the buzz started, and I have a feeling that we're going to look back at that,
Yeah.
and I think he's going to be hitting the I have here my thinking is he's going to be a mid-second through the 3rd round, depending on draft capital and landing spot.
Yeah, I think any of that area. I have late second all the way through the 3rd. I think once you get to the middle of the second, it's just kind of pick your flavor and
Hmm.
who you feel comfortable with getting on your roster. And running backs, this is that area. So I can
Yeah.
see him in that
Yeah,
spot.
he lands in a good spot. People are going to be swinging
Oh
for the
yeah.
fences for this guy. So,
Dolphins.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. All right, fantasy ceiling. I think he possibly could be an RB3, but I'm thinking more RB4ish. I don't see him but I don't know, somewhere in the mid 20s to mid 30s. I can see him being, after a couple years getting acclimated to the league.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I think 3 or 4 is exactly who he is.
So when I was watching his film for a player comp, right, I was thinking to myself, watching a lot of the Chiefs because my Eagles are going to destroy them next week in the
Mhm.
Super Bowl. Hopefully that happens. I was just thinking of Jerick McKinnon when I see him. Jerick McKinnon has been in the league for a little while. I could see them using him like a team using him sparingly, like a McKinnon. They're relatively similar in size. Jerick McKinnon has kind of flashed here the last year or two, but do you see a bigger role for him than a Jerick McKinnon? Because I think Tyjae Spears for me is going to be a 3rd down back who might get
Yeah.
3 or 4 carries, kind of like Kenny Gainwell kind of did. I mean, I think that's maybe where I could see his role being in the NFL.
I think that's fair. And actually, I like that Jerick McKinnon comp just because, McKinnon, when he was first coming out and got into the NFL, he relied solely on his athleticism. And I think that Spears has that same particular type of athleticism. He just needs to get the intelligence down of what he's seeing on the field and understanding his gap and zone assignments. Once he gets that, I think we're going to see what we've been seeing from Jerick McKinnon this year. It might take him a little while, but
Sure.
that's okay. He
Hmm.
needs to develop. My comp is Nyheim Hines just because of the role. I could see him being that pass catching type of role. And if the starter goes down, getting 10, 12 carries, something like that. But that's where he falls in that RB3, RB4 category.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Nyheim Hines, he went to the Bills, right? Did he? He went
I
to the
think he
Bills.
did. Yeah, and hasn't really gotten a chance to do much
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
have a bunch of those kind of guys. I
Yeah,
feel like with the
Singletary
Devin
and everything. Yeah,
Singletaries.
and
Yeah,
the Cooks. Yeah, he was good on special teams, though. I think he
yeah.
really ran a couple back or something on those games. So, well, there you have it, guys. There is Spears, exciting player. It's going to be interesting to see where he gets the draft capital, where he gets the landing spot before we. Hopefully, you do your rookie drafts after the NFL draft. But thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button again. I appreciate you tuning in. Welcome to the channel again, and we're going to be doing all of these kind of shows for all of the rookies. So, again, thank you for watching.